that ass.
What's up, guys? We're back with another training summary. And as you know, last week had some issues in terms of not feeling good. Performance was down a little bit. So I talked to Ben, who many of you know, Ben Escrow is doing my programming. And we decided that it was time for me to kind of take a back off week, that I hadn't fully recovered from that last training block. Even though it was higher reps, I did a taper, and I just didn't even feel like I did a taper. So there was a lot of training volume. I was hitting over 50,000 pounds a week by the end, so doing a little bit of deloading this week. So the first day was 2 sets of 9 on squats with 420, which felt really good. I didn't even have to get fired up for them or anything. Just kind of walked up and did them, which was nice. It's been a while since I've been able to do that with squat. So that last rep got a little bit out of line, but for the most part I was pretty happy with them. They felt a lot better. And this was, I think, 475 on deadlift. And it felt pretty good for sevens, 2 sets of 7. Oh, by the way, the deadlifts at the beginning, there's a there's a reason why I have my shirt off, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I decided to try and give you guys a little bit of humor. So these felt good. My deadlifts really hadn't been filling out of line, even though I only hit 585 for 10 last week, which, you know, it's not bad, but I had hit weeks before 565 for 13, which comparably should be better. So I felt like my performance was going down a little bit. So I think this week was just what the doctor ordered. And there goes Paul getting away with my camera again. Damn noob. And so these felt pretty good. Again, I just kind of walked up and did them. Didn't have to get fired up at all. For those who know me and have trained with me, they know how much I get out of focusing and psyching up for a lift. I could walk up to a 500-pound squat and get buried if I'm not focused and if I'm not fired up. So I mean, I've literally had 500 pounds for a single look like a max single if I don't get ready for it. So yeah, to just be able to walk up and do 420 and for those reps and 475 for those reps on deadlift felt good. This bench press is 250 for 2 sets of 8. It felt okay. I was still feeling it in my pec. As you guys know, I narrowed up my grip. For those who haven't been following, I tweaked my left pec when I was in Scotland, and it just hasn't felt the same. So went pretty conservative this week, and was really just focusing on, you know, improving my arch, improving my bench stroke, and firing my hips correctly, that sort of thing. But yeah, it didn't feel bad, but it didn't feel great either. So it's just going to take time. Unfortunately, injuries are one of those things you can't. I mean, you can speed up the process a little bit, but it's only going to get better as fast as it's going to get better. So I consider myself fortunate that it's not worse, and that you know, I can still come in and bench, because if I'm getting my volume in, I really shouldn't lose much strength, if any. So at least we're going to be able to maintain, hopefully. Obviously, I love to come in and crush heavy weights, but sometimes that's just not an option. You got to do what you got to do to continue to progress. So here's some sets of Paul on deadlift. I think this is 375, and Paul's had a tough week. He has been dealing with some knee pain, some really bad knee pain that was really throwing his squat off, and so he's been focusing on his deadlift, on his bench press, both of which are going really well, and you'll see some of those in here. His deadlift been flying up. On his last test day, he hit 535 easy, and I foresee a 550-pound deadlift in the very near future, and I know he's fired up about that. Here's his second set. Really, this has all Ben who's helped us with our technique. You'll see Paul pulling the slack out of the bar and, pulling the bar into his body, tightening his upper back. I mean, I used to just grab the bar and try to yank it up, and it was why I couldn't get past the 700-pound barrier. And working with Ben really made a big difference on that. So if you ever get a chance to go to one of our camps, Ben's usually one of our instructors, and he'll typically put 10, 15, 20 pounds on somebody's deadlift almost immediately. Here's Paul doing some sets with 275 here, like higher rep stuff. Like I said, his bench has been going pretty well. Paul's always had a strong bench. I think when he first got into powerlifting, he benched as much as he squatted, which is kind of crazy. Just those pecs, brah. Here's me. This is 265 ho hum for sets of 6, and you know, this, I actually recall, this actually felt a little better than it did on Monday. So this is actually Tuesday here. So the squats and deadlifts were Monday. The squats, bench, deadlift were Monday, and then I followed it up by the bench workout on Tuesday. And since I can't bench that much, you're going to see later, I'm doing a lot more accessory work. So I'm doing a lot more military pressing and a lot more pulling to keep my bench up, hopefully, while I'm only able to hit lighter weights. So I did more volume on that sort of stuff. I didn't show all my sets on military pressing and the other stuff, but I showed a few of them. So, but yeah, I mean, a narrower grip here, and just focusing on getting the form down. I'm really arching correctly, on breathing and bracing correctly. One of the things you'll notice, I talk about, people who've been to my camps, I talk about bracing the core correctly. People think about just flexing their abs, and that's incorrect. You're pulling in as much air as you can, and then pushing your core out as hard as you can. It's different than flexing. And doing that, people talk about arching, you know, on squats or deadlifts. Arching doesn't do anything if you don't brace correctly. So those who went to my Scotland day camp, they know how much I talk about the importance of bracing. But I do it even here on bench press, and you can see me do it. So here's a few sets of military pressing, and you know, nothing special here. Worked up to 225 for sets. I'll get people who will say, "Oh, you're not going down deep enough," that sort of thing. That's about as deep as I feel comfortable going with a barbell. I always look at what's worst case scenario. And worst case scenario is I lose control of it and drop it on my face, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. And then Paul thought it would be cool to get, he was like, dude, your pecs look pretty good. So he thought it'd be cool to get a video of me doing military press from the up angle. And actually, I didn't know he was going to do this, and he stuck the camera out, and I almost started laughing because I'm just like benching, or I'm sorry, military pressing, and over the bill of my cap, here comes this camera. So I actually did 5 reps, but he got only the last 3. So here's some lat pull downs, ho hum, very fun. You know, just trying to get a little bit more back volume in, since, you know, we're lifting a little bit lighter on bench and on deadlift. So, you know, weeks like these are tough because, you know, I want to come in and crush it, but I also know they're necessary because the week before was just terrible. Felt terrible, performed, you know, terrible. And so sometimes it has to be, there is something to listening to your body in terms of you have to be able to differentiate the difference between when you're just tired, low on energy, and can grind through it versus truly being overreached. And I think that's something I've gotten pretty good at over the years. Here's a rowing machine in our gym. And yeah, just getting some extra rowing volume here. There's nothing special about this machine or anything. In fact, I prefer other stuff, but this happened to be open, and me and Paul were going pretty quickly through our workout. So, and let's be honest, my back looks kind of cool, so I kind of wanted to do it in this lighting. Yeah, whatever. All the criticisms will come out. You're a narcissist. Well, I'm in bodybuilding and powerlifting, so whatever. Anybody who says they don't have an ego, they're either a liar or a loser. Just try not to let the ego get out of control, right? So, but this is nice because you can get a lot of back volume in on here, and And yeah, switched grips. Don't ask me why. I just felt like it. There's no scientific reason as to why I switched grips there. Because I know I'll get a question in the comments. Why'd you switch grip? Is that some kind of specialty technique? There are no secrets. I just felt like switching my grip. And then some curls for the girls. Just kidding. Just trying to keep these arms from becoming puny while I'm focusing on powerlifting. So I've been pretty lucky in terms of the arm department. I don't need to do a whole lot of volume to keep my arm size. I think they're a little bit smaller than when they were at their peak, but I'm not too worried about that. I know if I decide to go back into bodybuilding, well, when I decide to go back into bodybuilding at some point, we'll just ramp up the volume and they'll be fine. Here's Wednesday's workout. So this is 450 for sets of 7. And I was actually really not happy with this first set. I remember thinking, what the hell on that first rep? That's only 200 pounds under my max, and it felt way too heavy. But again, you know, some days you kind of have to ignore how you feel. There are so many days during training that I feel terrible. But I know I'm going to be able to hit the weights I want to get. It's just about grinding and realizing that, hey, you may feel terrible, but if you're still standing, you can do one more. So that's kind of my mindset I use when I go into these sets where I don't feel good and things feel bad. A lot of cameos in this video. You guys have seen Paul already. We're going to see a few more here coming up. My coach, Ben Escrow, came in tonight. We got some sets of him squatting. So he wasn't able to check out these, but I was relatively happy in terms of form. I was doing a better job getting my knees out. I was doing a better job breathing and bracing. Now, part of that's it's a little bit easier to breathe when it's only 450 on your back as opposed to 550 or 600. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction. So this workout was just 3 sets of 7. And I was really slowing it down in between each rep, trying to make sure I did it correctly, trying to make sure I breathed in correctly, braced correctly, that sort of thing. Oh, and shout out to my man Paulo Baja for these knee sleeves he sent me from Australia. Paulo's my dude. Love that guy. So I decided to give these things a whirl. Not as these are Harris knee sleeves. Not as supported as SBDs, but I still like them. I actually like them better than Rebounds. I actually don't really care for Rebounds that much. Maybe I'm the only one. But I had a pair of Rebounds, and I did, I think, like 4 squat sessions with them, and the seams already were already coming out of the back. And it wasn't like I downsized them. I had XLs. So, yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of the cost and how quickly they fell apart. But those SBDs, I love them. I love the SBDs. They, man, they are nice, comfortable, and supportive. So here's the video. This is Wednesday still of deadlifts. 3 sets of 5 with 505, and these felt pretty good. As you can tell, the deadlift platform was taken, so I kind of had to set up in a different spot. Got the tights on, so you know it's serious. Captain America Under Armour tights, big deal. So I was practicing this set of doing my hook grip and resetting between reps. That one didn't lock it out fully. I didn't put baby powder on my legs, which was stupid, and I got to the lockout position. My thumbs got stuck on my leg, but I wasn't really worried about it. My goal with these is more just to make sure I'm breaking the floor properly with my quads, I'm bracing properly, and then I'm pushing my hips through. And I was pretty happy with these. Ben Escrow does all his reps like this. So he will do the rep, set the bar down, completely reset, and then do it again. And then here I'm doing, you can actually see Ben in the background here squatting with the bar. He always warms up with the bar. Everybody else warms up with the bar except for me. I start with the plate. And they all make fun of me for it, but whatever. So these felt actually pretty smooth. Ben was able to check them out, and he was pretty happy with them. So I was happy. I mean, it's only 505, but again, you know, it's one of those things. I'll take it. The form should be the same whether it's 500 pounds or 700 pounds. The only difference should be how quickly the weight moves. So here's some sets with Ben. You can tell, very deliberate, taking his time. Ben's dealing with a myriad of injuries. He has a foot injury. He has a kind of a chronic back injury. And he actually just got his tonsils out, which actually he said it makes it harder for him to brace because of where he holds his air. But we call him the technician. He's great at helping people with form, that sort of thing. He's just a really tall guy. Ben's like 6'2" or 6'3". So any kind of minutia issues he has gets exacerbated by how tall he is, and like low back issues, knee issues, those sorts of things. He has quad tendonitis. But hitting sets of 315 here, pretty easy. And I think Ben's best squat ever is 493, something like that. And he's pulled over 6, so very strong guy in his own right. And like I said, just fantastic at being able to help people with their technique. I think his clients ask him for form checks 5,000 times a day. Alright, so here's the heaviest sets of the week. So this was 3 sets of 5 with 480 and then an AMRAP set. So these felt okay warming up. Or not warming up, but the first few sets before the AMRAP, they felt okay. Just getting my knees out, bracing correctly. Still felt, I felt heavier than they should have, but part of that may have been, it can be a curse knowing what you can actually do in the gym, because when I put on weight like this that should be pretty easy, I don't really get fired up for it, and it's hard for me to focus. And that's my problem. That's on me. You know, I need to be better about being focused regardless of how much weight's on my back, and just focus on doing it correctly. So, but I was happy with how my knees were getting out, bracing correctly. Oh, and you'll see some flashes here. I have an intern, Stevan, and Steven's a great guy, and he actually is kind of getting into photography. And yeah, that would be Steven's butt right there. And so we had him come in and kind of take photos of us lifting, and they actually turned out really cool. I'm really excited about them, and I wanted to get some photos for Outwork Apparel, my apparel sponsor. I'm wearing one of their shirts here, so I wanted Steven to get some photos of me wearing their gear, so we could send it to him. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. He has a whole lighting setup and everything. So we got some pretty cool shots, which I'll put them up on my social media feeds as they come back to me. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been in a quote unquote photo shoot. So it was funny. Except this time I was actually doing a real workout, not some fluff workout because I felt like crap because I was so lean. All right, so here's the AMRAP with 480. No big drama. Got 14 reps, and actually, I think pretty much every single rep up until rep 14 was pretty clean, and then 14, I just honestly, I probably could have done more, but I ran out of air, out of breath, and I just simply I could not brace anymore. And you'll see at the end I can hardly stand up because I don't have any air in my core, in my diaphragm, and I can't push my abdominal wall out how I want to push it out. So it just really made it tough to finish that last rep. But strength wise, I think I had more. I think I just kind of ran out respiratory wise, because they're still shooting up pretty good. Okay, well maybe that one was a little bit slower. Took a second here, gathered myself. And then rep 13 is pretty good. And then rep 14 gets to be a little tough. Yeah. And there you can see I can hardly like lock out my upper back. So I actually had to have Paul actually came in and had to help me rack the weight. And so here's bench 385. This was Friday's workout, by the way. 385 for 4 sets of 4. Yeah, that's right. 385, 4 sets of 4. So, and actually this felt good. I actually widened my grip. And what I found is that the wider grip actually didn't feel as bad as the narrow grip as long as I torqued my elbows in. So as long as I really tucked my elbows, it felt good. And so I switched to that, going back to my wider grip. And I think the reason is because when I was narrower, it's such a longer stroke to hit your chest that it was stretching my pec more. So going back to the wider grip, and these felt like they were flying up. Now it's 285, so it should fly up. I should be able to do this for like 10 or 12 reps. But I was still pretty happy with this. So can't be too mad. And this next video, this is Che. Che trains in our gym. He's part of the powerlifting team at USF. And he's a 148er, and he was doing, I think, like 7 sets of doubles with 310. So he's been getting a lot stronger. I remember when this was like near his max. So I believe he's doing Dr. Zordos's meet in November. It's being promoted by Dr. Robert Keller, but I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that. And then here's Reggie. Reggie, aka the BBC, with Stevan spotting him. Reggie's super strong. So Reggie's actually Paul Ravella's client. And Reggie is prepping for a bodybuilding show, but also still does powerlifting. This is him hitting 325 for an AMRAP set. And Reggie's pretty funny. Reggie owns his family owns a bakery. So yeah, you think you got to deal with temptation when you're in prep. Don't even talk to Reggie. But he's handled it really well, and he's getting very lean. And no, I didn't make up that nickname for him. He gave himself that nickname. Yes, that's right. He calls himself the BBC. So, yeah. So I told you I'd tell you what's going on with the shirtless thing. So Stevan came in on Saturday, and we decided, well, let's take some pictures of deadlifts, because I can actually, I can't do, I guess I could do squats without a shirt, but it'd be pretty damn painful. So did some deadlifts, and we came out with some really cool images. So I'm pretty excited for this. Didn't do all my sets shirtless, but yeah, this is the set I did before the intro, where I decided to make a fool out of myself, which I do on a regular basis. Locked my knees out too quick on that one, but these felt good. So this was 535 for sets of 3, and then the AMRAP set on the 4th set. Here's me in my Outwork apparel singlet. I wanted to get a couple shots of this for the guys at Outwork Apparel. This is a custom singlet. I've told them they should make singlets, so maybe if you guys would be interested, you can see the Outwork logo vertically on my back there. If you guys would be interested, maybe let them know. Maybe they'd actually make some of these. But yeah, needless to say, I got some funny looks in the gym. But hey, what are you going to do? So here's the AMRAP set. 535. Got it for 15. Pretty happy with that. Ben told me no grinders, so the last one was just a little bit of a grinder, but well, that's okay. So I was pretty happy with that. 15 was kind of what I was shooting, so it felt pretty good. I got it. When you're doing this many reps on deadlift, it becomes difficult to kind of control the weight. You can see I'm letting the slack go into the bar, and I'm not touching going the deadlift. I'm letting it settle on the floor and then going again. But you can even see it moving kind of left to right. So it gets difficult to control where it's going to. But I felt pretty good about these. I lost count, but I think that was like 12 or 13. I think it was. Yeah, so there's 13. I'm sorry, 14, I think. And then here's 15. Let's leave it all up in the grill. And so a little bit of a grinder, but not terrible. Probably could have eked out another one. And then here's Stevan hitting a PR for him. So he was lifting with us while he was doing the photography. This is 335. And he's only deadlifted twice in the last 6 months, he said, so he's pretty stoked about that. And then I was taking pictures and showing him my photography skills. Ha! So here's bench from that day. I did 5 sets of 2 with 285, but I'm only showing 2 sets here because ho-hum, it's 285. But it felt good, feeling better, getting better, and so hopefully we'll be crushing some heavyweights soon. So guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot Paul's AMRAP set. So this is him doing, he was doing sets of 310 for 4. But of course for his AMRAP set, we had to go 315. So, like I said, his bench has been going really well. He ends up hitting 8 reps here.
Tight.
So that's really good, especially after, I think he did like 7 sets of 4 with this weight.
Yep.
And then doing a set of 8 at the end, so he was really happy with that. So yeah, now that is officially it, guys. I'm in Vegas for the Olympia next week, and I'll catch you after that. Take care, guys.
What was that like?
Are you fucking filming this?
There it is. No, I just like holding the camera up in your face.
I don't notice this shit.
No, I was talking about yours.
Oh, yeah. Not bad.
Look at that.
It's healthy.
That's right, that's right, YouTube viewers.
Brings all the girls to the yard.
Brings all the what?
I said it brings all the girls to the yard. That's right. It's better than yours.
Are you really? Like,
I would teabag you during your set.
If I can't give you shit, who can?
We'll see, bro.